Applin has been the head women's basketball coach at Charleston Southern University for 9 seasons. I talk exclusively with the coach for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Coach Fred Applin, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's a great day in Charleston on this campus of CSU.
Yeah, and actually I was just up there on Tuesday and I ran into President Dr. Dundee, so he's a great guy as well. Love Dr. Costin. I know that you are obviously the head women's basketball coach at Charleston Southern, and you just wrapped up your 9th season as head coach of the CSU women's basketball team after assuming the mantle, that is, of the 15th coach in the program's history in 2012 after serving as assistant at Eastern Carolina. Who is Fred Applin as a coach 9 seasons later?
Well, I tell you, I've been blessed, and me and my wife, you know, she's a coach too, in the high school ranks and at Northside, and no matter where I've been, she's been a coach. So I've been blessed to be assistant coach for many years, and I was head coach at Hampton University, and this job came open, and someone called me, and I said I'll pray about it. And me and my wife prayed about it, and God has allowed me to be here for 9 years, and not just being a basketball coach, but just give him all the glory and to share my passion about basketball, but also, you know, being a Christian, I can walk on campus and I can touch many student athletes and faculty members. And that's happened several times, the relationships I built just because of being a Christian here at a Christian school and coaching. So that's Fred Applin, and I'm going to continue to follow God's path wherever he leads me.
What is God's path for this particular program?
I think the one thing here, God presented, I said when I first got here, this is like a missions field. You know, our church, we support many missionaries, but the opportunity here is missionaries are the students and also the faculty members, or just someone coming to campus to deliver water, maybe having a bad day, and God goes, hey, go talk to that person. That's what it's about, really. And I think God has put me in the right place, and this is a mission field to touch student athletes and students from all over the world.
All over the world. And out of those students who you actually touch, who relates to you the most?
I think anyone. If you ask my staff, my players, former colleagues, they're going to say Coach Applin could talk to anybody. That's something God has given me. I'm an open person. If I feel or see someone's hurt, I'm going to stop and talk to them and say, hey, what's going on? I've been through a lot of things. You know, growing up, had grandparents that were ministers on both sides of the family, parents that were really, you know, Christians, and the values they shared, I think, it just molded me into who I am today, that no matter what race you are, religion, I can talk to you. Give you a good example. I was recruiting over in Istanbul, Turkey, and I missed a bus, and it was a bus to take a boat to go where we wanted to go, and no one spoke English except one person. And this gentleman invited me. He goes, hey, I'm going to the same place you're going to. And I was so happy, relieved that this one person out of, I guarantee you, 500 people there. And he invited me into his home, and we sat, you know, he took me to a tournament where I needed to be and said, hey, why don't you come have dinner with me and my wife? And I did. And his son, he was Muslim, and his son goes, why isn't Fred standing up like we are? He goes, he's a Christian. So that was the opportunity for God to say, hey, share your Christian values, share what the Bible's about. And that's just one of many examples overseas or here. Had a regular student one day just walking through the parking lot, and God said, hey, go talk to her. And I talked to her, and her dad was in a coma, and it was a blessing that everything at the end, he was okay, but she was just having a bad week. I was told, hey, my office is in the gym here. Come on in, come upstairs anytime you want. Here's my telephone number. And she took advantage of that. So we had a relationship for 2 years, and then I saw her graduate. And that's the first time I met a parent.
Wow.
Yes.
That was a full circle moment. God works in mysterious ways.
All the time he does.
Yes, indeed. And you talk about recruiting. Let me ask you this, Coach. How has God directed you with recruiting in the midst of COVID?
Right now, we can't recruit. off campus, but I've done this, for 33 years. So I still keep in contact with the AAU coaches, high school coaches. My staff here is a great staff. They want to get out and recruit their connections. So we email, we text, we call the coaches, and coaches send us video. So everything's through video right now. And that's what we do. We watch video, but we also do a lot of background checks on some of these players and, see how they are. Can they compete at this level? Are they a good fit for Charleston Southern, or are they a good fit for our program? I always preach family. Always preach family, and I want someone. I'm not going to bring anybody in our family that's going to disrupt the family.
Right. Yeah. And who on your players' team can actually compete at your level right now, as far as Charleston Southern?
You mean as our players here?
Yes, sir.
All of them good. I tell you, this year. This bunch is hungry. They want to win. We've got a young lady from France that was a transfer in here, Alicia Faye, and she's an upperclassman. If you say almost the mid-major, she's one of those players that is at the mid-major and decided she wanted to transfer. And she's helped this team just bond with experience. She shares that with them. But our freshman class is come in. They're competing, and that's what we wanted. We got some kids that just want to come in here and play. Our two freshmen are playing really, really hard right now, and that's making the upperclassmen better.
And speaking of which, CSU versus Western Carolina, Charleston Southern took advantage of Carmelo Walker's strong second quarter and solid shooting throughout the contest as the Buccaneers defeated Western Carolina in a non-conference action on Sunday afternoon inside the Buck Fieldhouse. And that obviously was 66-56. What was that team effort like?
It was great. This was a team that was hungry. We lost to them a year ago. We should have won, but we lost them at the end. This team has been focused on every opponent we played, and we played them down to the wire. We had the lead, kept the lead from the beginning to the end, and that's telling you how your team is growing. Last year, I think we lost maybe 8 games in the fourth quarter that we were ahead or were pretty close to, lost by 6 or less points, and that's not what we want to do this year. We want to focus and we want to maintain a lead and take control of the ball, and that's what they've really done. They've zeroed into the things I want them to do, and they've done a great job at that.
And what exactly did you want them to do that they actually did?
I wanted them to take care of the ball. My major thing is boxing out, taking care of the basketball, have less turnovers than our opponent, but also shoot more free throws than turnovers we have. And if we can capitalize at the three-point line, every shot doesn't need to be a three, but if you're open, you can make that three, do that. So those are some of the basic things. But when it came down to the fourth quarter, about 3 minutes ago, we're up by 6. I told them we need to have stops. It was literally, I count the possessions. It was a 6-game possession. If we get two stops in those 6, we're okay. And if we can score 2 out of that, we definitely would be okay. And we did. They had a turnover, we had a turnover, and then we scored 2 out of the last 3 possessions.
Now, what was that effort like? What's the biggest difference between last year and this year with this particular team that you all faced?
I think this year, this team came in here. We set a plan from day one. This is what my vision is for this whole year. Here's the standards of the program. You deviate from that. We have, if you deviate from the standards, that's going to, be penalties for you. Something you're going to come in my office. We're going to talk about it. These players have been actually really good on and off the court. There's nothing wrong with last year's program. We didn't have that hungry, I want to win now, I want to compete every game. And that's one thing I talk this is about competing. They want to compete in practice. They want to compete in the games, but they want to win those games.
As a matter of fact, let me rewind time to my birthday, Thursday, October 15th. You all began practice for the season, and I know the Bucks kept their focus on the court as you and your coaching staff looked to continue the blended talents of the returning players while also featuring 3 of the transfers and a pair of talented freshmen into the mix. What was the focus on that particular court?
It was from day one. We're blessed that our university allowed us to come back in July. It was just our basketball team. I think football came in, and it might have been some volleyball, men's basketball, but we're blessed to have the opportunity. So the bonding started once they got to campus. Another good thing about it, Zoom helped us. We had so many Zoom calls, and that was a great bonding. Just having everybody in one place, but everybody was throughout the country, and I think that started it. But once we got to campus, they showed each other, they're true teammates and true friends, and that's why I preach them. These are your sisters, and they will be your sisters for life, no matter where you are.
That's exactly right. And how did you blend the talent with the returning players after practice?
Repeat that again.
Yes, sir. How did you blend the talent with the returning players after practice?
Oh, it was great. I had no problem blending these kids. Sometimes you got to separate them. They all wanted to go shopping before the COVID started. They all want to go to the beach together, and that's fun. I'm an outgoing person. I love the beach. I love fishing. I love grilling. They want to do those things, which is good. And I told them invite another teammate that you would never invite. Get to know another teammate that you wouldn't hang out with once you leave the court. And I think that's something they're doing. They had opportunities of those that live off campus, inviting everybody over, and we call them cookout nights. That you bring everybody gets a chance to do something, and you have that meal for them. So I think that's something they like to do, and of course, students like to eat, so that's no problem. So hey, why don't you all get together on a Friday night and cook at somebody's apartment?
Yeah, that's amazing. And let me ask you a general question, Coach. How many players did you actually return this year?
We've got 8 players this year returning. Like I said, Alicia Faye had to sit out last year. So those returners are helping us right now. And Anna Webster is she's the oldest player on the staff on our team. She's top returner.
Right.
Actually, we're working on school, and she would be
right.
So that I really.
Right.
So they've done a great job, and I just think our top 3 returners have done a good job with that.
And I know Charleston Southern was selected 10th overall in the Big South Women's Basketball preseason poll, as announced by the Big South Conference office on the conference annual media day. The Bucks received 24 points overall in the poll, as voted on by the conference's head coaches. Where does CSU fit in the standings in this particular conference?
To me, we should be in the top 5. That's my goal every year, top 5, no lower than 6 or 7. But if we compete and do the right things, I think we can finish in the top 5. It's going to be a battle. We've got some good teams that have more senior players on their team. But right now, if we compete, we're going to be in those games. We're in there last year. I think that's something everybody's looking forward for us. And those rankings at number 10, it doesn't bother us. But, I bring it up to our players, and they weren't happy with it. And I am not happy with the way they ranked us. But that's what, you have to live with. And there are many teams ranked 10, one of them, and they're ranked below that, the finished conference.
Yes, sir. And I know when you think of performances, which individual standout performance is one to watch this season?
Repeat that again. You cut out. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. And what individual standout performance is one to watch this season?
I would say we have many. I look at tape a lot and look at after our games and go, wow, that happened. And, you see it in the game, but then you go back and how did she make that pass? Or, this person is a rim run. She catches, she makes it up, and we hit a great 3-pointer. It's many of them. Each player brings something different. And I've had so far some good highlights from each one of them.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know, obviously, when I spoke with Coach Robin Harmony here at the College of Charleston, she basically says that they had no scrimmage games this season. How many scrimmage games were you all able to play this year?
We had none. It was all about, hey, we're going to compete against each other. We're going to be in shape, play games, play quarters, like it's a real game here, and go from there. That's something we did not have any this year.
And I know Charleston Southern opened up the 2020-21 season, that is, with a home opener against Columbia International at the Buck Field House. What was that atmosphere like on November 25th?
The players were so ready to play a game. They were tired of competing and practicing against each other. And it was something they focused on. And when that day came, I think our upperclassmen were ready, but our freshmen were excited and a little nervous. And once the lights came on, they were fine, and we executed what we needed to do. And it was a great game. We didn't have many fans here because of COVID, mostly family members, and our players enjoyed that. That was opportunity for them to come in and see our players play.
Well, yeah, that's amazing. And I spoke with Coach, obviously Coastal Carolina University head football coach and former CSU head football coach Jamie Chadwell
Yeah.
for Quintin School Subs recently, and he basically says, "Hey, his players never practice nor prepare to be a last place team." How do you prepare like that at CSU?
It's every day's a battle. That's what we do. We're competing to be like competing and practice like we're the number one team. If you compete and you're hungry for that those dreams come true, but it's hard work. I've been on some teams that we didn't have the talent that everybody thought we did, and we finished in top two or top three in the conference, and then go to a tournament. You win the tournament. So right now, that's what we're doing. I'm about competing every single day once you step on that court.
Yes, that's exactly right. And who is that surprise team, coach, that you all have been actually able to beat thus far in this season?
This surprise team that we
Yes, sir.
beat.
Yeah.
Well,
That you
we're
didn't-
going to play. I'm trying to think. The surprise team I think that we played was Florida, and because SEC, we wanted to see how we compete against the big dogs and how we can find your mistakes that you're going to make and capitalize on that and bring that back and prepare for that. Florida was very athletic. They pressured our guards, and that's something our guards got used to now. And I tell them, I said, you played against the best, so that pressure shouldn't be, you shouldn't think about that pressure all the time. Just do the correct things, adjustments we did. So Florida, but everybody in our conference, it's going to be great games. I was watching games last night, the night before. All of them are excited. We're excited about playing our first conference game coming up. So we're pretty happy with that. And I think every game is going to be a battle this year.
Well, I understand that. Well, CSU head women's basketball coach Fred Applin, thank you for your time. And again, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much for having me. And you're always welcome to give me a call. And I'd love to come back again. And hopefully we'll have that championship and you see where we are from today until the next time I talk with you. Thank you.
It will happen. You're welcome anytime.
All right. Go Bucks.
There you go.